Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with Jaguar Disturbance. Continuing our videos of the M44 in its glory, we've got Hawkeye6121 on the north spawn of Steps. Game on. This game is from 2020, June of 2020 to be precise. So it was back when the M44 was a lot more powerful than it is today. Unfortunately, wargaming have ruined the game and made the M44 incapable of doing this as it used to. You can see Hawkeye's found a rather novel spot to actually start firing from. He's actually going to fire from the ammunition dump. Not a very good move, because every time he turns the vehicle, he's going to set off an explosion, which is going to give the enemy Arty a chance to see where he is. Okay, first target, EBR Hotchkiss, who's going round and round and round in circles. He didn't fire in where the Hotchkiss was, but well, that was fairly close. Now the standard reload for this Arty is 19.08 seconds. But I suspect he's got he's got about 16.5 seconds to reload. First hit is on an AMX AC-48. 245 hit points. He's hiding behind that rock, which a lot of players think is a very good place to go because you can shoot up that alley. But the problem is that Arty can still hit you even if the tanks can't. Okay, the 88 has joined him. And he's taking damage already. Rounds out. Well, that was precision in terms of it landed on the same spot he fired at before, but not sure if it did any damage. Over on the other side of the battlefield, we just noticed the KV-2 going behind those rocks. But he's not alone, because there's an IS-2 there, and oh, it's an IS-3 actually, not an IS-2. Okay, we're dialed in, rounds out, this should be accurate. Lands right next door to him for 273 hit points. That's a fairly big hit, that. Okay, a Churchill 7's decided he wants to drive straight up without any cover, and that could work out against him. 86 hit points, it stunned him. Didn't track him though. Let's see if he can get some more damage. Almost loaded. You can see where the last shot landed. Rounds out. That's a direct hit, 261. Looked like it landed on the engine deck. He's getting good rolls on these hits. Ah, no, that's a bigger problem. That's the Lorraine 40-ton, which has got a 100mm gun and a 4-shot autoloader. And that's why the T-71 is going in there straight away to help the Black Prince. Meanwhile, Hawkeye's going to hit that IS-3 again and gets 117. The Lorraine 40-ton has been wiped out. And now they're dealing with the Churchill 7. Unfortunately, we just lost our Black Prince. The IS-3 got him. Another KV-2's turned up. Is that the same one that we saw before? I think it is actually. We saw him driving behind the rocks, but now he's come out and rounds out. Direct hit. Now, thankfully, Hawkeye's staying behind to actually watch and see where the shots go. And he spotted that one hitting directly on target. Churchill 7. It's a one shot, he's gone. So Hawkeye goes back to the KV-2 again. Rounds out, looks good. Direct hit again. That KV-2's got to be hurting now. Okay, over here we've got Super Hellcats turned up. He's fairly close to us, but this should be a direct hit. It actually landed short of him, but it still did 216 hit points. And the T-71, who we saw earlier in the game, is actually, well, he's going for it. Okay, we can't see that KV2. In fact, we haven't got that many tanks who have actually got sight on the Arty over the sight on the enemy, rather, on that side of the map. Meanwhile, the enemy is pushing up the other side of the map as well. Okay, in the centre we've got an EBR Hotchkiss. That's the same one that we saw right at the start of the game. And it looks like he's trying to pull back, but he's actually driving almost in a straight line. And you know what happens when that happens? Yeah, this happens. Oh, almost got him. It stunned him, but it almost wiped him out. And he's sticking around. This guy doesn't seem to be driving the Hotchkiss very well, because he's not moving very much, and he's been wiped out. Yep. Good kill for Hawkeye. Okay, the enemy KV2 has pushed on, and he's gone behind those rocks, which do provide some cover from Arty. Unfortunately, we just lost the T28 HTC to the IS-3, so that guy's got 2 kills now. Yeah, Dickomax is in a bit of a predicament because he's very low on hit points. Our Lorraine 40 tons actually moving in to try and kill that KV2. Meanwhile, over here on the south end of the map, in the other end of the map, we've got the enemy M44s in sight. Rounds out. Oh, that was so close to one of them. Well, we know where the enemy Arty are now. But there's still one enemy Arty hasn't been spotted. That's the SU-14-1. Our Lorraine 40 tons gone in a little deep and, well, rounds out in the IS-3. Direct hit for 161. Our Lorraine was stunned. He's just been stunned again, so he's getting hit by the enemy Arty. And the IS-3 just got a big hit on him. So Hawkeye needs to hit that IS-3. Rounds out. Direct hit on the engine bay for 262. You can see where some of the other Arty hits have actually smacked him. There's a mark on the turret. Well, it must be where one of the other shells hit. We're down by 2 at the moment. Say our Dickomax is pulling back. He's got very low hit points. He doesn't move very quickly, unfortunately, and I don't know why he's stopped there. If he doesn't get a move on, he'll get taken out by the IS-3. He obviously got distracted by something. Now we've lost sight of the enemy temporarily. And the Dickomax has joined us on the other side of the railway line. The unfortunate thing is, because the because our teammates rather have pulled back, it means that we won't spot the enemy until they get reasonably close to us. There's the Dickomax. Looks like he got hit by Arty, one of the on the side. One of the M44s probably. That 112 is looking a bit battle scarred as well. Yeah, it's very likely the next time we see the enemy, they'll be crossing the railway line coming towards us. Yep, here they come. And it's a P44 Panteras, the first one. And he's been spotted. Hawkeye's gone into shotgun mode. He's auto-aiming on the enemy. Unfortunately, this won't stop the enemy Arty shells from coming in. And, well, yeah. That was kind of predictable. But at least the enemy AC-48 got wiped out as well. He was the one who killed Hawkeye. And we're now watching as they're fighting it out. They're goes the Pantera. And I think the last one alive is the FV304. And he gets killed in the end by the IS-3. So sadly, this one is a loss. Let's have a look at the second replay. The second replay shows incoming on the south spawn of mines in his M44. Game on. Has 3 Arty on his team, another M44 and a Hummel, and he's backing into this corner and getting ready to shoot. Now normally I would actually aim for the entrance to the hill, because it's normally the enemy team, the north spawn, who actually gets the first chance to get onto the hill and capture the hill. So you try to interfere with them as they make their way through the entrance. But the enemy team is actually being a bit slow, and so it looks like incoming is going to get a chance to hit that ARL-44. He fires his shot in, does get a hit, but he didn't let us see the hit straight away. In fact, now he's trying to do counter battery. Back then, because this is from 2020, if you wanted to do counter battery, you have to look for the tracer to see where the enemy tank is, the enemy Arty. There's one. He's fired his round in and direct hit. So he definitely connected with one of the enemy Arty. They've got an AMX-13F3 and 2 M44s. One of them is behind that bush. He's going to try again. Rounds out. Will he get him this time? No, he didn't. But what he did do is immediately hug the wall to ensure that the guy can't get a counter battery. Of course, he would know where the shell came from, but he wouldn't know the precise position of incoming unless, of course, he was watching the tracer. Rounds out again. And a hit on the ARL-44. He's looking into the corner now. It's very likely whoever's behind that bush has now moved position. Can't see any tracer from the corner, but there's a pretty high probability that one of the enemy Arties is in this corner. When you've got 3 Arty on a team, it's generally advisable for them to spread out. If you stick together, there's a very good possibility that the enemy will be able to take out 2 Arty with one shot. Believe me, that has happened more times than I care to mention. Rounds out and the IS-2 shielded. Direct hit. And we can see that the other M44 in our team is actually moving. And look, somebody trying to counter battery just then, because the ground was kicked up. The shell landed outside the map. So we know the enemy is trying to kill internal. Incoming, not internal. What am I saying? Sorry, incoming. Internal. Probably advisable to hug the wall until you're ready to shoot and then come out. Oh, and he gets hit. It's the AMX-13F3 and he was the one who fired. He's in that spot there. Yep, we know exactly where you are. Okay, so he's fixed his tracks and dialing in. Rounds out. And he moves straight away to avoid counter battery. We didn't see where the shell landed. But we're going to have a quick look to see if there's any tracer coming from that position. And that should give us an idea. Because he might have moved back to avoid counter battery himself. And I'd hazard a guess that it was the AMX F3AM who was actually in that corner nearby. And he moved position after he got struck. And the closest point he could go to with any cover. There he is! And there's the shot he just fired at the position the incoming was in. So we're going to fire on that same spot again. And no joy. He's changing position altogether. This time he's going to actually go over here. Since the enemy isn't overlooking our position, he might be able to get a good shot in. I've moved a bit further back on the aim point. That's better. That looks about right. Rounds out. Not quite, but close. And he's being very sneaky now because he's actually coming outside the corner. And I don't think the enemy Arty is going to work that one out. I don't think he will think that he's done that, but he'll probably still firing into the corner. Let's look for the tracer again. Where are you? Are you back in that corner? He's going to try. Nope, no joy off that one either. Oh, we just saw an Arty shell arc over the hill and hit the 88, and that's what incoming's going to do right now. Rounds out. You see, incoming's got a reload time of 17.17 seconds. He's not using premium consumables, which does speed up the reload, increase the accuracy, just makes the Arty much more effective, but it does cost. But it's worth it because you tend to get back more credits than you expend. And he's being very, very crafty now because those enemy Arty are not going to be expecting him to fire at them from over on the east side of the map. So this is a very, very sneaky thing to do. And it means those enemy Arty are going to be firing at the wrong spot. But they'll probably line up the shot to see where he is and realise that he's out of position. And one of the M44s went to the Nigel spot and is now headed down the island. Well, incoming's going to shoot. Rounds out. Direct hit! Took him out. He's got the first of the Arty. Still 2 to go though. Okay, now he's just going to work out where the other one is. We think that there's an enemy Arty in B2, but he's looking for that AMX13F3. He's fired into the corner. It lands short. The other M44 in our team's already moved up here. I have heard from some Arty players they do enjoy playing from this corner of the map, because it's totally unexpected for the enemy to suddenly start receiving shells which actually are hitting their sides rather than their front. That T20 looks like he's making for the cap area. He's going to get a bit of a surprise when he realises there's no Arty there. We can't get a shot on the T20. In fact, he's now engaging the IS-2 shielded. Meanwhile, the AMX13F3 just wiped out our Hummel, so maybe that T20 did spot the Hummel hiding in the corner. Okay, we're looking to get a shot on the other M44. He's looking in the Nigel spot now. Might be worth hitting that Thunderbolt. Yep, he heard. Rounds out. Splashed in for 46. Unfortunately, we did lose. Well, MT25 lost some hit points, but we did kill the AC4. The other M44 got him. Now, can we get this Thunderbolt? No. So he's going back to the Nigel spot to see if he can spot where that other Arty is. I kind of get the feeling that the other Arty, the other M44, is possibly a little further north. I still think that AMX13F3 though is in that little corner. He's not on the plateau anymore. I think he may be in the corner somewhere where he fired just recently. course, he's got a bit of a problem now because that IS-2 shielded has managed to make his way up onto the hill. And from that position, he might actually be able to see where incoming is. But look at this, incoming, no F's given. He's going into the enemy area. It's almost like he's after a shotgun on those enemy Arty. There's only 4 enemy tanks. We know where one of them is. He's on the hill. The other one's right down in the south, looking for our Arty. And of course, we're not in the right position. We're out of position. The MT-25's up on the plateau, and he hasn't found the Arty. Okay, going for the IS-2 shielded. Couldn't get a shot from here. Oh, this is getting tense because it's now 3 versus 4. I actually have the feeling that one of the Arty is potentially in the corner, but the other two, the other one might be actually further south. He might have gone all the way down to the south. In fact, we haven't heard from the enemy Arty for some time, but of course the reason for that is they didn't know where we were. Okay, so we're aiming for the corner, but we've got a red line, so we can't shoot there. The MT-25 has looked in that corner, so he's not there. So he's not where I thought he was. And that means he must be just around the corner in the far corner. And that's where he's indicating for the MT-25 to go. Looking in the Nigel spot. Nope. It does look as if they have gone south. The MT-25 didn't find anybody in the corner, so the Arty must have travelled south, and they probably went across the island to do so. Okay, so we're now aiming back at our own cap area. Rounds out. And we got a reset. So somebody was near that position. Somebody's saying go up onto the hill to spot. The MT-25 needs to go up onto the hill to have a look and find out where they are, and then Arty can get the resets. All 3 of the enemy. Oh, he killed the AMX-13 F3. He was in the cap as well. So that's even the score in terms of numbers, but they are still capping. They've still got 2 in the cap. And I kind of have the feeling the IS-2 shielded might still be up on top of the hill. Okay, we're going to get a sighting very shortly of where these enemy are. All 3 of them are in the cap, so the IS-2 shielded is not there. One of the M44s has just been taken out. We're going for the T-34-85. Rounds out and kill shot! But there's still 1 in the cap. It's the IS-2 shielded. It's the last one alive. It's 3 versus 1. Rounds out. Direct hit. 178. Good strike. It must be quite embarrassing for the enemy that we're capping at the other end whilst they're capping. The IS-2 shielded can't win now because we're capping at the other end. And our cap's going to be over shortly. We're aiming for the IS-2 shielded with a blind shot. Oh, now we can see him again. Rounds out. Another reset. And yeah, it's hopeless for him now. He can't win. We are definitely going to win. And the M44 is going to get the victory. And that's it. They've got victory because the IS-2 shielded was killed. Here's the end of battle results, and in the first game, Hawkeye6121 in the M44 Unfortunately, it was a defeat, but he got a second-class tanker in that game. He got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He managed to get 14. And he got a ghost medal for doing more damage than 8 times the hit points for his own vehicle, with a win rate of 4,491, which is Super Unicum standard. We can see that he didn't get the highest damage in the game. That actually went to the AMX AC-48, which is the tank that killed him. He got a high caliber for 3,443. The IS-3, 3,017. He also got a steel wall. And then we've got Hawkeye with 2,616 hit points. When it came to kills, I'm afraid he's not near the top. No, the AC-48 got 5 kills. The IS-3 got 3, so did the M4A3 EC8 on his own team, who also got 11 slaves. And we can see that Hawkeye only got the 1 kill in the entire game. But when it came to base XP, he's the highest on his own team with 553, but he was beaten by the IS-3, who got 1,067. The AC-48 managed to get 895. And of course their M44 on the enemy team managed 688, as well as their SU-14-1 getting 685. So let's have a look at detail. 18 shots fired, 6 direct hits but no penetrations, 16 splash on the enemy. Damage of 2,616 hit points, of which 2,400 were at more than 300 meters, so some close range shots on the enemy tanks that were nearby, plus of course that Super Hellcat shot that he made during the battle. 2 hits received, both penetrations I'm afraid, and that finished him off. 8 enemy vehicles were damaged and 1 killed. 130 hit points of damage assistance plus 721 hit points of stun assist of 14 stuns. On a free play account, he earned 29,972 credits, got 50,000 credits for completing a mission, 3,574 for courageous resistance. 83,546 credits altogether, and after repair and ammunition resupply took away 72,476 credits. He got 3 bonds for that game and 553 base XP, 319 for courageous resistance, took away 872 experience points altogether. So not a bad game, but it was a loss, and well, there's not much he could do because the team folded around him, and towards the end of the game, rather than actually spot for the Arty, what his teammates did is they hurried back to the other side of the railway line, which meant that Hawkeye couldn't see where the enemy was, and of course that way he wasn't going to get any further shots that were any good. If we look at the second battle for incoming, he managed to get a second class tanker as well. He also got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 16. And he got a defender medal. Yes, he got a battle hero medal for resetting the cap multiple times and getting at least 70 defense points in the process. His win rate was 5,430, which is Super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at team score and where he was. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in the game. That actually went to the IS-2 shielded, who was in the cap and then got taken out. I think he was actually killed in the end by the MT-24. Or was it the other Arty? It was the other Arty, the one that was capping. Or was it? No, it wasn't. Not sure if it was the other Arty who was capping, but it was killed by Ruffian, which means he was, yes, taken out in the cap area. He managed to get 2,112 hit points. The next highest damage was the IS-2 shielded on our own team with 1,989, followed by incoming, who got 1,985, so only 4 hit points in that lot. When it came to kills, they shared the top spot with the IS-2 shielded and the other M44 on his own team, and also the IS-2 shielded on the enemy team and their T20. They all had 3 kills each. When it came to base XP, it was incoming who did the best because he got the resets and everything. I think that was what helped him. 870 base experience points to him. 811 went to the IS-2 shielded. 811 went to the Hummel as well. And 810 to the MT-25. And the guy who was capping, Ruffian, he got 794. In fact, I'm a bit surprised that he didn't get an Invader medal. And it's saying here he got 98 cap points. The reason he didn't get the Invader medal was that he actually killed the IS-2 shielded before he reached 100 points to actually cap out. If he'd left his shot a second or so later, he would have capped out and he would have killed the IS-2 shielded at the same time and earned himself a medal. So he fired a little prematurely there. Anyway, let's have a look at detail. 23 shots fired by incoming, 8 direct hits, 2 penetrations and 13 splash. Damage of 1,985 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. I'm interested to know who he actually penetrated in this game, because it is interesting to note that did he actually penetrate one of the Arty? I think he probably did. Yes, one of the Arty, the M44, he penetrated. That was the guy who was capping. Did he penetrate the AMX13F3? Yes, he did. And in fact, it's showing 2 shots on the AMX13F3, so he did 2 stuns. So he did stun him more than once. So I think actually he did hit him. And I'm not sure if this was the other one he hit, but maybe. I think it was probably the AMX13F3 who he did the blind hit on anyway. So let's finish the rest of the details. 7 enemy vehicles damaged, 3 killed, and 179 hit points of damage assistance, plus 52 hit points of stun assist off 10 stuns, and he got 100 defense points by resetting the cap repeatedly. 24,637 credits on a free-to-play account, 12,319 from personal reserves, total of 36,956 credits. And after repair and ammunition resupply, took away 24,698 credits profit. He got 1 bond for getting an achievement or mission completion, 870 base XP, times 5 for the first victory, took away 4,350 experience points altogether. So 2 very different games, different results, same class of tanker, well, a very different outcome, you might say, but I think both players played their hearts out and they did very well. And it was nice to see incoming moving about the mine's map with confidence and being able to get good shots on the enemy in the process. In fact, if he hadn't moved from the position in the corner, he definitely would have been wiped out by the enemy tanks that made their way to our cap. So a very good outcome for him. Unfortunate outcome for Hawkeye in that his teammates couldn't spot for him once they were over the other side of the railway line, but he did get some good damage on the enemy in the process, and of course a nice little gauze medal. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm.
Alright, this one's gonna go in. It's my last one, I swear. Alright, can I open up?
And thank you for watching.